Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark, this is Spiguyver Backpacking, and I'm out here today because I just did a beginner backpacking video. One of the videos for the series that I'm doing where I went through shelters and I showed tarp setups. And I've had the question several times, what do you do if you're out hammock camping and you end up having to go to ground? How do you deal with that? How do you set it up? How do you make sure that you stay warm, dry, all of that stuff? How can it be done? If you don't have two trees, how do you get it done? So that's what we're here to talk about today. That's what I'm going to show you guys. So why don't I get this stuff going? I've got everything I would have out on the trail with me right here. I've got trekking poles, I've got my hammock, I've got my tarp, I've got my suspension, and I've got my stakes. That's what you need to make this work. So let's do this. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna start out with the stuff that we've got, starting with the tarp. So we're gonna set up the tarp. So to do this, you need your trekking poles. Now, these are set up at the height I would be hiking with them in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna change out. I'm gonna leave one at that height, and I'm gonna take the other one down a little bit lower. Let's go with that. That is the height. Okay, so now I've got one that's a little bit higher, one that's a little bit shorter, and I'm going to use these as the basis of setting up the tarp. So I've got with me my Underground Quilts 12-foot tarp, and so I'm just going to unwind the cords. So I've got, on this one, I've got the stingers and the line out each end. Roll it out. Now one end is going to have to be with one side, and then you'll run the other side out to the other side. So to keep this in frame, we'll go ahead and do this one right here. We'll run this one out this direction, about there, and we'll adjust these as we go. Okay, so I've got the tarp kind of laid out here. Next, I'm gonna need some of my stakes. So I've got plenty of stakes with me. If I suspect that there's gonna be a chance I'm gonna be going to ground, I will probably carry a couple of extra stakes just so that I can do this. Now there are a couple of different ways you can do this. You can either do it with the pole in the ground or with the pole upright like this. I kind of like it this way. Now I'm going to put one stake in right here, step on it, get it in, go around that stake. And then for right now, I'm not going to cinch it down too much. I'm just going to lock it off so that I've got a good starting point. Now I will actually be setting up where the second one goes. So that one will be right here. Place this through. Okay, so it'll be right here. So I'm gonna put the stake in, run it around that one, back up into here, put a little bit of tension on it, lock it off. Now I will adjust both of these to get them kind of hanging up a little bit better. There we go. So now I've got it so that it's strung across. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Pull my snake skin off to one side, just like that. Now I'll close that up. Now I'm going to grab my stakes again. Get out 4 of my stakes for the 4 corners. Okay, so I've got the tarp strung out. I'm going to adjust this pole just a little bit, get it where I want it. And now I'm just gonna slowly go around and start staking out the tarp. Now I'm not gonna put too much of tension on it yet, because I can go back around and make adjustments after I have it pitched out. So now I've got it pitched. I can make the adjustments to get rid of these loose spots. So this needs to go out a little bit wider here. So you can see the cat cut dips it down right there. I'm going to adjust the corners up front, pull them out. Okay, and now I've got kind of the basic tarp shape that I want. I'm going to adjust the poles just a little bit to get them where I want them. Okay, so now I have the tarp set up the way that I would want it. This is low. It's probably a lot lower than I would normally have it, but it is very, very safe for storms right now. So I'm going to go in here and get the suspension and the hammock so we can look at how we're going to set that up. All right, so because I use the Venom straps with the Myers little carabiner replacements here, the Evo loops, I'm just going to use the Evo loops, put them over the top of the trekking pole. And so now I've got the attachment point, which is going to go down, which I will Beckett hitch the end of my hammock to. So I will go, I don't know, a couple feet in and do this. It's not as big a deal of getting, you know, the 30-degree hang or any of that stuff as it normally would be if you're out hanging from a tree. So I've got a nice little start there. So I've got that on there. I'm going to open this up and run it down to the other end, and we'll do pretty much the same thing at the other end. Okay, so we've done pretty much the same thing. We've taken that loop, put it over the top of the trekking pole that's here, and now we've got it hung down in there. So I'm going to go in, get the hammock, run it this way, and do another Beckett hitch, and we'll take a look at that. Now, as you can see looking in there, the hammock is laying on the ground, and that's not quite how we want it. So I'm going to make some adjustments on the other end, and we'll take another look. Okay, so I've got the Beckett hitches attached, and I've got them adjusted to the right tension. I've got them exactly where I want them, where most of the hammock body itself is laying on the ground. However, the structural ridge line is keeping what would be the bug net or the top cover up off of you, so you can get in there and still have good bug protection. So why don't I get inside and show you guys how that works. Okay, so I will get in here and just kind of sit down in here, lay in, position myself in just like I normally would. And now I can lay here. It's up off of me. You can see that top cover is up off of me. And it's gonna keep me protected from any bugs, any creepy crawlies down here on the ground. So there you guys go. This is how I would set it up if I was out on a trip and I was intending on using the hammock, and then I came to an area where maybe I got into just open fields, or you know, there were a bunch of blowdowns and I didn't feel safe tying to any of the trees there. If you found a spot that was open enough that you could put a tent, you could also do something like this. This is not the way that I want to do it. I'm not going to be as comfortable and you've got to kind of consider what you're doing for insulation. That's something we can talk about at a different time. But this is how going to the ground works with a hammock. As long as you have trekking poles and you've got stakes, you can get this done. Hope you guys learned something from this. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Thanks for checking this video out. If you haven't done so before, please go down below, hit that subscribe button. Right next to it, there's a bell icon. If you click that, you will get notifications every time I post a new video. Appreciate you guys checking this out. I will see you down the trail.